Hello everybody, welcome back to the second episode on season 12 here of the Gravediggers with Partizan Belgrade. Before we get into anything, I just want to apologise for the audio issues in the last episode. I've hopefully rectified them today. Basically, I had tweaked some of my mic settings to try and reduce any background noise or feedback or whatever, but basically what it seemed to do is if I moved or basically weren't speaking directly over the mic, sometimes certain sounds would just drop out. I think it was basically the noise gating was trying to reduce potential background sounds which would be at a certain volume or frequency or whatever, and if I moved away from the mic it just wouldn't always pick them up, so sorry about that. Hopefully today I've just undone those settings for now, and we'll just run with it. But yeah, you join us today in the middle of October. We've played 2 Champions League games, we've won both of them, 6 goals scored, 1 conceded. We are second in the league with 3 points behind Stancom, who are the only unbeaten team left. That does mean that yes, we did lose our unbeaten streak, and it happened in the most classic Football Manager way possible. We also had the sort of end of the summer transfer window, and there was a few bits of business that we did. Nothing overly exciting, I don't think. I can't remember, but we'll have a look and let's see what's been going on. Hi everybody, welcome to the episode today. Like I said, we're in the middle of October, and we've got 2 games today, Champions League game and a league game. The league game is first, and it is against first place Stancom, and the second game is in the Champions League against FC Copenhagen. Like I said, we played 2 games already in the Champions League and won them both. We can just see right now the club is currently in a really, really good position. Youth facilities are finally starting to creep up a little bit more now, and the estimated value of the club is huge, and I think the club's finances, balance is also incredibly, incredibly healthy. So yeah, we'll just quickly touch on transfers. So you may remember last time I touched on the fact that I'd found a couple of left backs that I wanted to, full-backs that I wanted to sign, but I couldn't sign them because they weren't old enough, they didn't want to join. The first one was this guy, David Bascovenu, Romanian player. I found him when he was 16, and we just couldn't get him to join us because he wanted to continue his development at his club. We know what that means. Once they hit 18, that opens the move. So literally he's turned 18 a week ago, and we've just been straight in, and he is going to join us, due to join us January 2034, but he will be staying on loan for the rest of the season at his club. This was a guy we hadn't particularly earmarked as a potential fullback, but our scouts just found him, and he was actually happy to sign a deal with us at the age of 17, but once again he stayed out on loan at Bursaspor. Basically I just checked, they asked for a loan back, so I just thought I'd check, and he was playing games for them, and he had been playing regularly last season as well, so we just thought it makes sense for him just to stay there. Cesar Bekar, and he will be coming in the following summer, potentially just to go back out on loan. We will touch on the loans. In fact, I'll do that now. Basically, my plans to try and loan players out into the league have worked, but not really quite exactly how I wanted them to, because what I tend to forget when I do these loans is that Serbian clubs are limited to 6 loans out at a time. Now, the way around, we've got this with the likes of Hrana Elmerson, Marcio, Chetin. You'll see a couple of other players. This guy, Jan Podratsky, he came through using the second yellow card scouting method, where we basically scouted the youth teams. He looks phenomenal. He looks really good. He's also really versatile, but he will be coming in as a deep-lying playmaker cover option. So we basically found him scouting the Czech under-19 team. He's another one. Basically, we get around having more loans out by agreeing for them to finish their, spend the rest of the season on loan at the club we bought them from. I can't remember if I showed you this guy, Gabriel Hanna Elmerson. Another one we saw, he came up from Vikinga Reykjavik, and he's actually done really well for them. He's playing a lot of games. They actually won the league this season. They're competing in the Conference League. So he's someone who might not really feature a huge amount for us, but hopefully if I can really sort of next season perfect this limited loan farm that I have. So rather than loaning out people like this who I would just be better selling, Volkan Savic, again, another one. Probably would just be better just selling him rather than loaning him out, because it does mean that certain players like Christea, Shea Gregg, all these young players who are really good and have got really decent potential and could perform at a decent level for us in the Serbian league, we can't loan them out because we're at our limit, basically. It's really frustrating, and it doesn't seem to be any way around that, unfortunately. While I'm here, I will also touch on this guy, Fermin. Again, scouts found him, seems a really, really versatile player. Spanish, we signed him from Atleti for 9.75 mil. I couldn't remember if that fee was what we signed him for, but he stayed out on loan there. Just again, purely because I was like, well, I can't really play him at the moment, and I'm basically doing a lot of contingency planning with some of these youth signings. You'll also see when we go into transfer history, some of the players who came in. We'll touch on the outs in a bit. We'll focus on the ins. So Abina Igwe, I think, was the last player that I showed you that we'd signed, and he's played a fair bit. Excuse me, he's quite versatile. We've had a couple of injuries. Our fullback department is quite light, which is why I'm looking forward to bringing in another right back, because we've ended up having to play Jose Suarez out at right back, which has meant that then we've literally had him, Stankovic and Bishabu. So Abina Igwe has been able to play there, which has really helped us, because you'll see, we'll touch on it now, basically Damien Skiba's left, he went to Leverkusen, so they bid for him, and he was like, Leverkusen are a much bigger team. It was like the whole, we'll take some convincing to stay, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, it was like one of them. It's like, oh, well, let's just sell him rather than avoid kicking up a stink. We got a decent bit of money for him. He's worth more now than what we signed him for, but we made a decent profit on him. So Daniel Rocha was the next one we signed. He was someone we actually made a bid for a couple of seasons ago when he was 17. He was actually interested and moved then, but he wanted to come in as like a important player with like 49k a week, and his attributes now are so much better than they were then. Basically, it was like, I'm not going to sign you now because A, I'm not prepared to pay you for what you want, and you're also nowhere near good enough to be an important player for us, so you're just going to get annoyed. So someone bid for him on loan, and I was like, oh yeah, it's him. Looked at him and I was like, oh, actually, yeah, he's a much better player now. So we'll bring him in. But again, we've been limited by the fact that we can't loan him out because, rules and things. For me and Podratsky, we've touched on. Pierluigi Lorenzi is basically just a backup keeper that we signed from Genoa for 850,000. He was happy to come in and be a backup. So, and then these two, Gligto Gravenberg and Lee Quincy Hahn, are two Dutch strikers that we found through our under sort of 18 scouting technique. Basically just brought them in because they looked decent. We could get them relatively cheap, I think, for what their ability is. Quincy Hahn has done really well playing for the under-19s, and eventually the plan will be, he's only 16, we'll start trying to loan him, get him some good loan moves, and hopefully he will do really well and develop really well. And if worst case scenario, we just sell him. Falcone did end up leaving. He went to Sevilla in the end for a total of 52 mil, 38 mil up front. I expect that he will move again in the future, probably to like a Man City or a Real Madrid who are interested in him in the summer, and we have got a percentage of profit on him, I think 30%, so I'd like to think we'll see a little bit of change out of that. Otherwise, I think that's mainly been it in terms of transfers. In terms of games, I'm going to show you the stats for this game because it is literally as you would expect. So we played Sadulika, who at this point were doing quite well. They were fourth. But as you can see, the keeper got 7.9. They had 4 shots, 2 on target. We had 21, 7 on target. And basically, I knew that we were probably in a little bit of trouble when inside the first 5 minutes, their keepers had made 2 blinding saves. One of them, he literally had no right to make. And then this happened. And it is literally at this point when this happens that the game is just out to get you, and it is just not going to be your day. Like, what more can I say about that? Like, just, and then no matter how hard we tried, we just couldn't get through. Petras didn't have a great game, neither did Levervasseur. But yeah, what can you do? You just know that sometimes the game is just going to get you, and nothing that you do is going to make a difference, which was really annoying because that was our first defeat in like 22 months or something like that, something like 70 games or something we hadn't lost in. But yeah, as we know, crap happens in this game, and what can you do about it? Yeah, if we look at the Champions League, we beat Braga 1-0, and then we beat Monaco 5-1. And I am also going to show you this game purely just for the Jose Suarez own goal at the end. It was a perfect performance, literally up until this. If you look at the stats at the side, we absolutely hammered them. They only had 1 shot on target, 5 shots in total. We had like 23 shots in total. Levervasseur getting a hat-trick, early start, goal inside 1 minute 20 seconds, absolutely phenomenal. Castellani did get injured in this game. He is just starting to come back. Chihan has scored 2 goals exactly like this, a deep corner, and it's literally just landed on his foot, and he's just tapped it in at the back post. What was this one? Was this was, I think this was another Levervasseur goal. 2-guard whipped it in, Levervasseur heads it in, perfect. And it was absolutely just brilliant stuff, really. I can't remember if this is where he completes his hat-trick or if someone else scores. Might have been a Petras goal. Petras has been a really frustrating player this season. I think he's on about 4 or 5 goals, but he should easily have more. He hits the post a lot. He seems to miss a few sitters. I'm hoping it's just going to click for him and he's going to find a bit of form. And then, yeah, this was Levervasseur's headed goal. Incredible leap. But here is the icing on the cake, everyone. 92nd minute, whistle is about to go, and we give away a clean sheet through whatever the hell that was. Whatever that was, I don't know. It went down as a Suarez own goal. Yeah, ridiculous. But yeah, look at the stats in this game. We absolutely dominated them, and yeah, it's been really encouraging to see how well we played in the Champions League in our first couple of games. Like the Braga game was just a 1-0, but again, relatively comfortable. Like they did have a slightly few more chances. Their XG was pretty rubbish though compared to ours, and possession wise we were all over them. It was a really nicely taken goal from Tudegaard, well worked, and he basically just drove through the middle and picked the ball up and just slotted it in. And just the last one for weird goals, I'm just going to show you this Azevedo goal because I mean, yeah, we made hard work of this. As you can see, 33 shots to 2, and we didn't score until the 68th minute. Like, but literally a long throw in from Cvetanovic, and it lands right on the feet of Azevedo. Yeah, love it, but also what the hell? Like, just bizarre. As you can see, Petras scored twice there, and he scored there as well against Monaco, which we saw. Yeah, we just played a friendly against Olympiacos because we had this Stancom game coming up, and when we had... Who was it? I think it was this game against GAT. We really struggled because it's just come back from an international break, and we've just been on an international break here, and we had 2 big games coming up against Stancom and Copenhagen. So I was like, I'm going to just throw a little friendly in for the players who aren't on international duty, just to try and get their fitness up. But you may be saying to me, hang on, Tom, why is Petras playing? You know, Micanovic has been doing outstanding. Look at this, he got a hat-trick there, goal there, goal there. He's not been playing, everyone, because he broke his ankle. I think it was against IMT. And he is out for another 4 weeks and 2 months. He was on 8 goals in 6 appearances with an XG of 3.45, and yeah, he broke his ankle, got injured. So we've been having to sort of fiddle around with the strikers because I have been unable to loan out some more players. By the way, I can't show you because I've already prepped for the Stancom game. We've actually prepped a 3-striker tactic to try and make the most of the fact that we are very striker heavy. I would say we've got Davide, we've got Mensah, Greg, and Davide, Chris. I think I already mentioned Davide. Sorry, Christea, even Osman. Osman's not kicked the ball yet. Then we've got Vukovic, Petras, Sunar can play there, Kushart can play there, Levervasseur can play there. Literally, I'm just waiting for a game where I'm like 4-0 up at half time and I can just try it in the second half just to see how it does, because it might be a way of just getting some of these players some game time and getting them in the shop window potentially. Some of them I'm really tempted to try and just sell out and just really try and just sell them for like nothing to a Serbian club, because they're good enough to play at a decent level and they'll be better than a lot of the strikers that the Serbian clubs have. But yeah, once we've played the first few games, I'll show you how the other teams have been doing in Europe as well. So, I mean, needless to say, we're playing top of the table here in Stancon. Like I said, they haven't lost yet, so it's imperative that we get a win. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Let me just... Sheehan, you idiot. Why have you done that? Just snapping him. Oh, absolute idiot. Why would you do that? Why would you actually do that? This is a team who can cause us problems at the best of times, and he's just gone and made it so much harder for us now. God's sake, man. Why would he do that? I was actually about to say, Stancombe were a team who've caused us problems before. They're a really good team. And, like, we've beaten us, like, 6-0 before in, like, recent seasons. Admittedly, we'd already won the league by that point. But that is so annoying. Why would you do that? Our last game out, we did just draw to TSC, who can be a bit of a tricky team for us. Again, we made hard work of it. But... no, come on. Absolutely ridiculous. What is going on? Why? What? I don't even want to see that again. Yeah, they're a team who can cause us problems, and we've just basically just gone, yeah, you know what? Have the game, have the win, that's fine. Just disgusting. Yes, come on, Martin. Yes. Perfect. Just on the stroke of half time. 1-1. Thank you. Blimey. I'm going to be making changes at half time because there are players who are struggling here. So we brought on Borisenko for Essa because Essa was pretty tired and I want him raring to go for Copenhagen. And we're taking off Stankovic because A, he was tired, and also obviously he just made that absolute outrageous mistake for the goal. And then we've also just made a few little changes just to sort of to help with the shape basically. Like, you know, tactical instructions just to sort of help with how we're playing, just to sort of basically allow for the fact that we are really going to have to rely on trying to hit them on breaks and stuff to get anything out of this. Which has really, really annoyed me, that. Oh, what a ball from Costas. Perfectly weighted. Alan! Get in! Absolutely get in! The weighting of the pass from Costas was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And Levervasser has just... He's been brilliant. He's been exactly what we wanted. I'm not saying that Jovic doesn't put up the sort of numbers that he's been putting up so far, but you can just tell he is just more like big game ready. He's just got the technical ability, like we were saying last time out, or, you know, at the end of last season, sorry, that Jovic just sometimes went missing, and like, oh my word, this day exacts a heavy toll. Jeez. Angeloni has literally just come back from injury, and he's a massive part of how we play. And now he's just been injured. We've had Chihan sent off, Angeloni injured, literally right on the stroke of a big Champions League game. Right, come on. What are we going to do now? How are we going to influence the rest of this game? I think we potentially bring on McAllister in the middle. Tugard can come off for Osvedo. And let's go with that and see. Great save. Great save. Interesting fact about Bishabu, just if anyone's interested, he is now eligible to play for Serbia. Because basically, he's qualified for citizenship, he's been here long enough, and he's also not played a game for France at all. He's not got a cap for France. He was the subject of a bid from Villa, and he kind of wanted to make that move, but he respected the fact that I wanted a certain transfer fee for him. So he was like, yeah, that's fine. No club has hit that value yet of 30.5 million, which we've agreed with him. Sorry, I'm just really nervously watching the clock in the top. Yes, Costas. Oh, and Borisenko's free. What can he do? He kills some time, and we're going to win this game somehow, because the referee is going to blow his whistle very, very soon, especially when they've just given it back to Borisenko. McAllister into Petras, back to McAllister. Borisenko keeps hold of it, shields it, sends it to McAllister. Here comes Allen, and that's the game. I have no idea how we won that when we were like down to 10 men after 6 minutes. Wow. Great, Angeloni's now out for 3 to 4 weeks. It's not the end of the world, it just means that we play Suarez there instead. But essentially, most of the players now who are unsettled are quite happy now. So Castellani's not bothered about leaving anymore. Suarez was annoyed that I hadn't offered him out at the end of the window. He's like, oh, you said you were going to sell me. I was like, well, I'm not going to actively offer you out, but if a club comes in and bids, I think we agreed 68, 70 million, then I'll sell you. So he's okay with that. He's still unhappy about not being able to move to a bigger club, but he's happy enough for now. Who else have we had unsettled? Chihan's happy. I think that's mainly the main ones really. Yeah, and then obviously, like I said, Bishabu, no one came in for him in the end, and yeah, I think that was it. I felt like there was a lot going on in that game, that I was kind of a bit like, oh, yeah. So yeah, Angeloni being out is a big one, but I think we might be okay. This guy's just gone out on loan to Sampdoria. He is decent. I'll probably try and sell him to a Serbian club when he comes back. The coefficients wise, we're doing all right. We're on 4.9, so we're doing better than Turkey by quite a way, and a little bit better than Denmark. There's a chance that if we do well and other clubs do well in Europe, that we could actually potentially go all the way up to 8th, which is really exciting. So at the moment we are currently 3rd after 2 games. Hopefully we'll still be there after today. Like I said, we're playing Copenhagen, who have only won once yet. PSG incidentally haven't won at all. Vojvodina did go through to the Europa League in the end. They drew against Brøndby and have just lost to Rapid Bucharesti, so they are just outside. Red Star went and did with Liverpool, I've just clocked during the Conference League. Red Star went and did a Celtic and went Champions League, Europa League, Conference League. They drew their first game against, I want to say Derry. Was it Derry? Kalmar, Swedish team. They drew against them. Metalak, I think it was, who drew against Derry, maybe? Yeah, they drew against Derry City, and Stankom beat Craiova 1-0. So I'm hoping that we can do what we had last year and have 3 teams go through to the Conference League. Basically, out of all the teams who qualified for the Champions League through the league, all 5 of them are in European competitions. Metalak did incredible. They were having an absolute stinker at the start of the season, as you can see. Really, really poor. Like, they didn't get their first win in the league until here. They were bottom for a time, absolutely sunk. But they just did the business in Europe. 2-1 here against Turan, 1-1, and then went through against Dundalk, beat Galatasaray in Turkey, and then lost 3-2 at home, but they were fine, they were home and dry at that point. And then, draw against Derry. So, considering they've been doing really poorly in the league, they did do well in Europe, and now they've just started to pick up in the league a little bit, so I'm hopeful that they'll carry that through. We've got a really tough game against Nordsjælland, which we could really do with them beating, just because it's just going to give them a perfect chance to sort of creep up. And they've got Midtjylland, they've got basically playing a lot of Scandinavian teams, so the game against Midtjylland, getting a result there is going to be huge. We're just trying to make ground on Denmark. We've also just confirmed another signing, Matej Hauer, coming in from Slavia Prague. He's going to stay there on loan for the rest of the season. Another one we found just through scouting, the Czech youth team, 16 years of age. Someone who we've got for relatively cheap. something like 500,000, 700,000 in total. And he will come in and just develop, and then we'll sell him on for a profit most likely. I don't know whether he'll ever develop into a really good player. He's got decent tempos for an attacking mid, and he's got good determination, so he might do. But we're just kind of taking chances on some of these younger players who've got a few decent standout technicals who we can hopefully bring in, and then if needs be, hopefully sell them out into Serbia, and they can help some of those teams. But we'll just have to see, really. Now, we've made 2 changes for this game. Obviously, one of them is enforced, so Suarez is in because Angeloni is out. Suarez is, you might be saying, well, why didn't you just play him at centre-half anyway? Why is Stankovic playing? Well, it's because Stankovic is fantastic. I know we've seen him make 2 mistakes today. Obviously, the one against Sedulika and the one in the game against Stankon. But look at these. I just want to keep playing him and just help him develop as much as possible. He's still only 19, and he looks this good. I was in the way for some of that, so I'm just going to show you his full profile. But you can see, just look how good he is. Phenomenal, perfectly good on both feet, really good technicals, really good mentals, really good physicals. He's just fantastic. So we're trying to just keep playing him as much as possible. Obviously, Chihan will play because he had such a massive rest last time out. So he played 6 minutes, and Kushart is coming in because Petras is a little bit tired. And we're going to play Alan up top and see how we get on there. But we've got Borisenko on the bench, Davide on the bench, Petras is going to be in there, Vukovic, all of which can play up front. And Castorani's going to come in the number 10 because he is sort of fully fit now. He's passed his fitness test. So our first away fixture of the Champions League. And hopefully we can carry on with our fantastic Champions League form. And this will be a perfect opportunity to, I think, really pretty much guarantee that we're going to go through. Obviously, last season we went through on 9 points, and literally we're relying on other teams to. I think he's offside. We're relying on other teams to lose in order to go through. I think he's offside here. Yeah. Unsurprising, but good start, a good lightning start. But yeah, if we win this, we'll already be on 9 points with a lot of games to go. We have got, I think, Spurs to play, who incidentally enough did win the Premier League last year, but they're not having a great start to life in the Champions League this time round. And then we might have Fiorentina to play, and I can't remember, a couple of others who are beatable. I've got a feeling one of them is Bayern Munich, who obviously aren't necessarily that beatable, but I just can't remember who the other one is. But I saw them and I was like, most of these are very winnable, I feel. So yeah, obviously a couple of seasons ago we weren't that happy with how Bishop was doing. He was making a lot of mistakes. Since we've obviously trained him to play a simple passing game, etc., and there should be a goal, I honestly am astonished he missed that. Since then, he's cut out so many mistakes in his game, really, and he's just turned into such a good player. Because he is so tall, he just barely gets beaten to anything in the air. He can just win most things. I think he definitely just took that over the line. He just barely misses out on anything. And he does crop up with a couple of goals here and there as well. And Copenhagen are proving tough to break down here. They've not really done anything, and I feel like it's hopefully only a matter of time before we score. We've got options on the bench if needs be. Are we playing Ludogorets? I can't remember. We'll have a look before the end of the episode, because I'll we'll decide who we're gonna bring it back for the next episode. They've been quite good, Copenhagen. Their pressing's been really good. The keeper's just done diving at the edge of the box. He's full on Manuel Neuer there. Complete Manuel Neuer moment there. Yes, should be. That tipped onto the post. Oh, Kushar was struggling a little bit, at the start of the season, but he's sort of slowly managed to play himself into form, and he has been our sort of rotation right winger when we've not been sort of playing Jovic, which hasn't really been that often. I'm going to have to make some changes because there are some tired legs and some people not doing very well. I feel like I just want to put Alan out on there, even though he's not doing that great. I feel like that's what I want to do. And I'm going to put Borisenko. I don't know why. We're going to try him. I don't know why I'm thinking of doing that. And I think we could take off Tugard for Osvedo. And let's go with that and see if we can. Those changes can garner a little bit of momentum shift for us. That should go out to the left, yeah, because that's where the space is. Osvedo has been a perfectly capable understudy to Tugard. Random lag. Here's Allen, loses the ball. Stankovic. Suarez, come on. Let's create something here. That's it, just go back if you have to. But yeah, Osvedo's been a perfectly good understudy. Got a couple of goals. Done really well. Allen's not having a great game, is he? Really not. Castorani is not going to last. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Alan. Please forgive me. What was I just saying? You're not having a great game. He goes and scores. Obviously, he did have the disallowed goal in the first half, but he goes and scores today. One of them, I suppose, if you throw enough at it, eventually it's going to stick. And a lovely finish. Like I said, I just find sometimes, even though they don't always naturally lend themselves to cutting in, I just find it still seems to work quite nicely. We're going to go with McAllister because I quite liked him recently. Just his experience has been really good. Who else could do with coming off? I actually think we take off Stankovic, Suarez, and then put Jovanovic there, who for some reason can play fullback. I don't really know why. He just seems very capable of playing fullback. And I keep losing my train of thought because I keep getting distracted by everything that's happening in game. But yeah, McAllister, he's just kind of basically done what we wanted him to through signing him. He's just come in and he's just very, very good at just coming off the bench. Even though he was signed with as an important player, I've ended up using him slightly more as like a squad player. And he's weighed in with a couple of goals, a couple of assists. He was just good at just sort of calming the game down a little bit. And here comes Alan again. Borisenko is out-jumped. And they've got a chance to counter, but obviously Bishabu wins it, and then Essa wins it. Chihan, Costas plays it over. Lovely ball for Costas. I think he's onside. I actually think he's onside. Yeah, give him. It's another phenomenal ball from Costas. The dude is just so good. He's like Xavi, Pirlo, whoever you want to compare him to. Just unbelievable, man. And that really is going to kill the game off now, and we'll make our final change. Who do we want to see? Go on, we'll bring Nemanja on for Essa, because he's fortunately he doesn't get much game time now, Nemanja. He did actually come to me saying, might want to leave for a new challenge. And then as soon as we went to have the conversation with me, he's like, I've been thinking about leaving for a new challenge, but actually no, I'm sound, I'll stay. I was like, okay. Spurs, we were just saying about them not having a good time of it, have turned it round and have beaten Juve. I thought, Cavalcante is someone who we've seen a couple of seasons ago, and we nearly tried to sign him, but he went to Real Madrid in the end anyway. He's been scoring goals. And he was considered a danger man, but Bishabu absolutely shut him down there. I know he was offside, but he absolutely shut him down. And Osvedo, calm as you like, wins the ball. So Osvedo is someone who we will probably end up selling him in a season, I reckon, because we're going to have those two young left backs coming in, so they are basically going to be Tugard's replacement. Rotation option. Obviously, hopefully we can keep Tugard as well, because he is in demand. So we might end up. Is he offside again? we might end up selling him anyway, is what I'm saying. And as long as, he's done a good job this season so far, so hopefully we can even, bit of loud sound, hopefully we can make a little bit of profit on him. We didn't pay much for him. So I think if we, he is well offside. I think if we end up selling him, we should be able to get a decent chunk of money. And happy days. And you know what? I was worried that wasn't going to happen. Look, they've given us the best game in the Champions League that we've had so far, easily. I know possession-wise we dominated them, but chances-wise they were really good. So that was it. It's Bayern next, then Spurs, then Lech Poznan, Benfica, and then Inter. Now, Benfica and Inter I think might be winnable games. Inter we drew 2-2 with in the San Siro. I think it was in the San Siro. It might have been at home last season when we weren't playing at our best, so doable. Spurs, like I said, not having the best time. Munich will be hard. Poznan should be a win. And Benfica, they are currently, they just beat Mainz, which you'd expect them to do, I suppose. They got battered by Inter and lost to Vitesse. Yeah, Vitesse, everyone, actually came from behind in that game. Like, second in the Eredivisie, and just threw Rangers. Sorry, Rangers fans, but they probably should have done better there. Who's this team from Czech Republic? I've literally never heard of them before. Mlada Boleslav. Yeah, go ahead, Vitesse. Good on you. Yeah, so we are, obviously we're just beating a Danish team, which is going to do us the world of good. That puts us 5.3, so 0.4 I think that counted for. So that puts us a little bit closer to them. And let's see what happens in the other European competitions now before we finish the episode. Obviously praying that they can all get wins and just get us some more points. For the coefficients, because if we were to go up to 8th in the league, it would mean that whoever comes second in the Serbian Superliga goes straight to the third round league path playoffs. So that means they have to play one game to get into the Champions League rather than the two. So Red Star, I think, did they win one, lose, go down, play the Europa, and then to the Europa League and then lose, or I can't remember. Might have been they actually might have dropped down to the Europa League, the Conference League, Europa League at the first time of asking. So let's see, how have they done? So if we look down, so we're looking for Vojvodina, who lost again. Who did they lose to? They lost 1-0 to Kyiv, so they're not getting battered. And then let's see, Stancon won again. Fantastic. They beat Maribor 3-2. Red Star lost, and so did Giorni. So who did Red Star? So Giorni lost to Nordsjælland, and Red Star lost to, so Estrela Sad. So they lost to a Portuguese team. Okay, but Stancon won. But we need these guys to start getting results, otherwise they're not going to qualify. And what does that mean for the coefficients? It's doing this thing where it doesn't want to show us. What's that going to mean? Because Midtjylland won there against Tbilisi. And let's see, come on, I want to see what's happening. I just thought I was just quicker just to skip ahead and then get it to load that way. This has not been the case. I should have just gone into it through the world view tab, but Red Star and Giorni really need to up it. I expected better from Red Star, to be honest with you. Let's see, that puts us on 5.7. Denmark have leapt up to 5.4. Wow, they obviously had a few wins on the Thursday. But we are putting a good bit of distance between us and Scotland. Greece is doing quite well this season, but we are on course to hopefully have another good season. We are going to lose a rubbish season. Denmark are going to lose a decent one. Turkey are going to lose a decent one, but we're then going to start with a stinker. I'm looking forward to jibbing off this 29-30 season. These two can go. After that, it gets a little bit better, especially last season, that 14.4. But yeah, we really need to start getting some wins in the other competitions. Really, we can't be relying on us and Stancom. But really, it is just a 2-horse race for the league at the moment between us and Stancom. Let's be honest. Red Star really slipped behind. TSC, even doing better than Vojvodina at this point. Milanovac have really recovered well, to be fair, getting like 5 wins, in recent games. Like I said, they were rock bottom, so that is good to see. Who are we hoping is going to slip up here? Is it mainly just Copenhagen and Fenerbahce we need to slip up? Obviously, it'd be helpful if some Rangers could keep the Scottish teams down a little bit, but main thing is Fenerbahce and Copenhagen need to suffer, really. So with that in mind, then I think the next game, should we bring it back for Benfica Inter? I know that's a while off, but I think those are the games we bring it back for, personally. Like we've done previously, when we bring it back for the last 2 games in the league phase. Now, if we're potentially guaranteed a top 8 finish by that point, I might just bring it back for one of them. I might not bring it back for any of them. I don't know. But I will plan on bringing it back around there. But bear in mind, it might not be. It might not be. I think if we get a win against Poznan, we'll be guaranteed to go through. It's just whether we can get something out of these 2 games to really give us a chance of going through in the top 8. So yeah, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have and you're still here, do drop a like down below and drop a comment. What do you think is going to happen in the rest of the European competitions? Do you see us getting results against Munich? Do you see us getting results against Spurs? And do you reckon the other teams are going to go through? So we've got Stancom, Red Star, Gorny and Vojvodina. How many Serbian teams do you think are going to be playing European football in the new year? Are we going to get... Well, obviously some of them, we all will be, actually. That's a stupid comment, because we'll all be playing in January still. But how many will be progressing? How many do you think are going to progress into the next rounds? Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will see you very soon. Take care, and bye for now.